Music to me is a way to share everything, like every part of me. It's a way to share what's on my mind. It's a way to share whatever I want to say. Because I like to talk, but I like to sing a lot more. And I would always rather put my feelings out there through song than just words.
I need a witness. Nothing's gone right, everything that starts just seems to end. When will something begin? Oh, I need a win.
I wrote my first song when I was a senior in high school. It was super bad, very horrible song. I had so much I wanted to say and I didn't know how to put it into a song, so I just tried my best and it came out very bad, but I've gotten much better since then.
Must be a sign, nothing to do, but I still got no time. Don't think
I think being from LA does influence the kind of music that I make because I grew up around lots of musicians. My dad is a musician. He's a bass player as well. I did not start playing bass because my dad did. I actually started playing drums when I was in third grade, and I did that for a while, and then I eventually decided to start playing guitar, and then I decided that I wasn't very good at that, so I was like, he plays bass, maybe I can too, and then I kind of fell in love with it, and he was pretty stoked about that.
This year is the worst, can I come in first for once? I lost my job, I'm so ashamed. That boy I'm into, he don't feel the same. None of my friends are in the same state, but they probably wouldn't want to see me anyway. I need a win.
I started writing music not too long ago. I've been writing music since I've been in college, so probably about 3 years, maybe a little more than that. Writing is one of my favorite parts of the whole process. I love to write. I don't do it the same way every time. Each song kind of comes differently. My process is really just I'll have an idea come to me, whether it be lyrics or a melody or sometimes a bass line, and I will kind of just build off of that. It's hard for me to just sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna write a song. It usually just comes out of some sort of spark of inspiration. But I've definitely evolved as a songwriter, and I still have a long ways to go. I have a lot to learn, and I only just started producing and releasing the music that I write this past year.
Don't think I can take one more surprise. One of these days I'm gonna lose my mind. No, I'm gonna lose my mind. I need a win. Nothing's gone right, everything starts just seems to end. I'm not know when will something begin. Oh, I need a win.
I am very much influenced by R&B and hip-hop and funk and soul. I really, really love disco and old 70s music. Artists that influence me, there's a lot. I love James Brown. I love Shaka Khan, Anderson .Paak, and Kendrick Lamar, Mac Miller, stuff like that. So lots of different stuff. It's really not just one thing.
Alright, so I'm Tucker Bickel. Me, along with Edward Smith, who's not here right now, produce all of Zoe's songs with Zoe. We pretty much do everything on this mic. And
The one mic.
yeah, the one mic, and one track at a time. you know, very DIY. It makes it fun. It makes it more of a challenge. And especially when it starts to sound good at the end, you start to get, you know, it's exciting to kind of see everything come together in a living room.
I really, really love it here in Boston, and I've met so many amazing musicians and artists and friends. If I hadn't come to Berkeley, I would certainly not be the musician that I am now. I have very much been shaped by experiences that I've had. I definitely owe a lot of my growth to Berkeley and the people that I've met here. And even if I've never met someone, if I know that they're a musician, I know that we have something in common, and there's some way that we can connect.
I always lose. No, no. I need some good news before my luck kicks in. Oh, I need a win. Nothing's gone right. Everything that starts just seems to end. Oh, not know when will something begin. Oh, I need a win. I give all I got, but it's not enough. How long has it been? This year is the worst. Can I come in first for once? Oh, I need a win. Oh, I need a win. Hey, oh, I need a win.
I was set to do a bunch of shows. I had like a little tour set up, and I was planning on doing like 8 or 9 shows in the months of March and April, and then just like that, like none of them happened. And it was really, really hard because I finally felt like I kind of got some momentum. Then it, you know, just kind of got ripped away. And since then I've kind of felt like I had to build that back up and almost start over. Luckily I met Tucker and Ed, and we started recording my music, and that has changed everything for me. We are currently working on my first EP, which hopefully will be out this summer, maybe like June or July, which is very exciting. I want to get a band together again and play some shows. That would be ideal.
I got my first guitar when I was 7. After crying to my dad for a while, part of my argument was that like I had seen this guy at the beach with sunglasses picking up all these girls. Like whatever my 7-year-old interpretation of romance was, I was like, this guy's nailing it. So I think I felt cool for a lot of years playing it when I was younger. And then I stopped feeling as cool. Like I didn't really want to carry my guitar around. I think just what happens like a lot of young guitar players, I just like lost my drive to learn stuff, especially because it wasn't really cool anymore. So I lulled for a couple of years, and then I realized that there actually is like a pocket of people who I can look up to in this thing, and especially kids just like in cities where there is kind of a scene of like older people doing it. I realized that this wasn't something I had to be embarrassed about, and there was like some aesthetic benefit it could give me having the guitar rather than the opposite. And that's when I think I really realized that it's way bigger than that, and it's actually my favorite thing in the world, and that I want to be doing music. I was playing like every day. I didn't really have enough to say yet, I think, to like write music in the way that like I ended up, I think, doing it. But I was just like always making something, like not complete songs, but just like something that felt like I made it. I guess in a way that was getting back in touch with like the original thing that was just having fun on it as like a great toy. I guess it still kind of is that. It's like my favorite toy.
Oh wow, what a colorful world that I'm scared to go out in now. 'Cause my overlord, he's got an infinite army of those who adore him, of course.
It's like the past 5 years, I think, is when I kind of merged my identity as a person and my identity as an artist. I'm not sure that I've found my voice or found who I am perfectly as an artist yet. I think as I get older and I understand kind of where I'm at as a human being a little bit more, it might get a little more consistent. The best thing I can hope for right now is just accurately portraying where I'm at in a moment. I guess a moment is fleeting by nature, let me try to like elongate this as much as possible, or at least create a portal so in the future I might be able to access a fraction of it, what it felt like. But yeah, I'm still working towards it. I want to do a better job. I think that's why I still practice guitar and learn guitar solos, learn parts from songs. I mean, I go to music school. I'm trying to still figure out just ways to get it out a little more clearly. One of the best feelings I've had is getting the sense that I've done to an emotion what an artist that I love has done to any emotion.
I hope they can clear up some room for kids that I found to be kind. Bright lights, I awake with stars. The nurses cry, he's dead on arrival. Sometimes I get dressed to the nines. Sometimes I get dressed to the nines. Sometimes I get dressed to the nines.
I also think that in the music I listen to, there's a million different types of moments, and the way that someone might capture them is really, really different. If I'm in the mood to dance and I just ate a good meal and my energy levels are high and I feel healthy, that all might lead me to making something groovy and fun like that. Whereas when I'm trying to write something sad, I'm trying to define that moment rather than sadness in general. I think sometimes it's more relatable for people to hear something specific because it feels like something specific that could have happened to them. And I've noticed that as a listener. If someone mentions a proper noun, my brain might just fill it in. I might just interpret it as another proper noun in my life.
That I paint on the roof of this room, paradise bright, Pacific and blue. So why do I try to rework the old shit, make it worse than it was in real life? And somehow, parrot in backseat cracks, look who's driving now. Parrot in backseat cracks, look who's driving now.
Wish I could say that as a kid I knew about the Boston music scene or was more involved in it. Obviously when I was 12, no one would have wanted me to show up to a TED House show or something. My biggest growth as a songwriter happened when I went to New York for half a year, and I think kind of being ripped out of an environment that I was in for so long stirs up some new thoughts. The geography, the nature, and the landscape, more so than a particular music scene in my life, I think has been an influence.
At least he could parallel park better than I ever could. Bright eyes and material, not even worth giving a look. Sometimes I get dressed to the nines. Sometimes I get dressed to the nines. Sometimes I get dressed to the nines just to lie there and stare at the sky that I paint on the roof of this room, paradise bright, Pacific and blue. And I'll be home by noon. It's true that it's cold out there, but inside I'm feeling new.
Recording has been okay, actually. There's a lot happening at the moment. The nature of a studio, as far as coronavirus goes, is pretty good because you got control room in one spot, and then everyone, theoretically, we could all ISO booth in different areas, and so we could actually all be totally socially distanced. I think the pandemic does kind of force some of the more stressful aspects of writing music while hiding all the really, really fun, rewarding stuff. The reason why it feels like such an activity, it's such a thrilling thing to do to write a song, is because I'm writing it to the people who might hear it eventually, rather than just sitting alone with the guitar and singing. Sometimes I think it helps with getting something that is a little more raw and is a little less conscious of how the listener might take it. I think I have had to reckon a little bit more with, if nobody heard this, I still would want to write it, and why, and let me write it to the version of myself that would write it even if no one was ever going to hear it. I think it can be hard to be so heavily involved in art. For so long, playing the guitar or writing a song or listening to music even really was something that I could just decide to tap into because it was fun and I would enjoy that. And especially in this isolation where it's oh shit, I gotta make use of this time. I have to practice guitar. I've noticed over months that mindset crept up on me. And sometimes I'm burned out and I think I actually have to take a break. A lot of the time I think what I end up realizing though is that it's not really one thing. I think music can be really cathartic, or it can just literally be fun. It can feel like I'm working out sometimes when I'm practicing stuff. I don't really go to the gym ever, so I feel I get my dose of let me get my reps in when I'm practicing guitar, which is obviously a really different thing than sitting down and putting my sad boy face on and like making some lyrics that hurt.
Cold out there, but inside I'm feeling new. So oh Lord, away all the people who make me feel so bored. Are you sure? My waitress asks, are you looking for something more? Froze up. She didn't mean it like that, but I think she's right. It's getting late and we put a real good fight.
I think it's cool to have this project now that it's 6 songs, 3 of mine, 3 of Jason's. We're gonna record it at a studio called Dead Moon Audio. It's in Somerville. It's just songs that have been around. Some of them are really, really new. Some of them are pre-pandemic. So hopefully we can capture some different emotions in there. But I think it's gonna be a nice gradient kind of fun listener music to like pretty raw personal stuff. People spend a whole lifetime, I think, doing one thing in music and getting different things from that one thing. And I'm still just trying to find new ones and find new ways to like feel things through music. At music school, there's a lot of people who just love to play bebop, and like that's kind of where they're going and where they want to be, and it's amazing for them. And they're having as much of a journey with that one specific genre as someone else might be having, like dipping their toes into the water with like a million different things. I'm still trying to balance finding new things and feeling new things versus getting the best feeling out of old things, and we'll see. We'll see where it takes me. Hopefully better music, more and more of it.
Real good fight.
I'm Zoe Sparks,
I'm Jack Lewitt,
and you're watching
and you're watching
Off the Record.
Off the Record.